do you ever just like consume some content, like whether it be a show, a movie, a YouTube channel, a game? You watch it, you love it, and it's like the thing that consumes your life for quite a long time, and then suddenly you just forget about it for whatever reason. It's just gone. It disappears from your life. Years later, you see something that references it, or it suddenly pops back in your head, and it all comes flooding back. Vsauce is one of those for me. Vsauce is a channel. It's possibly one of my all-time favorite channels on YouTube, and it's one that I loved growing up when I was in school. I very much attribute it to molding a lot of my mindset to being very interested in both history and science and just curious about everything and wanting to learn about everything. I very much attribute that to Vsauce, at least a large part of that. And yeah, just one day I stopped watching it. I stopped watching his stuff. I know there's Vsauce 2 and Vsauce 3. I don't really know much about those two, so that might be worth checking out at some point. But and it suddenly pops back in my head today. I was just thinking about stuff that I could react to, and I remembered Vsauce, and oh, I miss this content. Hopefully it's as good as it used to be. I'm sure it is. I'm sure he's kept up a similar type of content, because that's, the whole, I don't know how to explain it. So today we're going to be reacting to what if everyone jumped at once. Everyone in the world jumps at once, what will happen? My immediate assumption is nothing. I don't think much will happen. This video is quite an old one, so we're assuming, there's about 6 or 7 billion people in the world. If you all sort of came together and all jumped, my assumption would be you might have some, you might be able to detect it on a seismic scale, like if you had some sensors around the area, or like a certain distance out. But I don't think it'll have a significant impact, because thinking about it, whilst 6-7 billion is a lot, it's a huge and unimaginable amount of people. I think if you used to pull them all together, I suppose it depends how you do it. If you have like a ring of people around the earth, or you have them sort of like just dotted around, or you bring them all together in a bunch. I'm assuming you bring them all together in a bunch here, like you focus it on a certain area. I don't think that'll actually cover as much area as you may think it does, but I may be completely wrong. I could be talking absolute nonsense, and I could be completely false, and that's what we're here for today. We're going to look at this video. It's 7 minutes 12 seconds long, and if there's some of you that have never seen Vsauce before, I think it's it'd be quite a rare thing, because it's such a popular channel. It's got it's one of the sort of OGs of YouTube, in my opinion. Not necessarily OGs, but like one of the, if you were to like rank YouTube channels of like, these ones are like the most defining and sort of the most the best ones, at least in my opinion. Vsauce is very high up there of all time. But let's get into it. I've already been talking for like 3.5 minutes, so let's jump into it. Let's see how wrong I am. If I'm just totally wrong, I'm very happy to be wrong. So let's go through this together.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here, and
Classic.
What if every single person on Earth jumped at the exact same time? Could it cause an earthquake, or would we not even be able to tell? Well, first things first, let's talk about the Earth's rotation. The Earth spins, it's why we have night and day, and it spins quickly. At the equator, the Earth is spinning at more than 1,000 miles per hour. Now, a spinning ice skater,
That's a lot faster than you'd think, but because it's at such a huge scale as well, it doesn't necessarily look that fast.
can speed up by moving mass closer to the center, and the Earth is no different. In fact, if you get down on the ground right now and move your mass closer to Earth's center, technically you will speed up Earth's rotation, making this day shorter. Now, the change that you would make to the Earth's rotation is way smaller than we could even measure, but it is...
Wait, so now I want to know. So obviously he's saying it wouldn't really make any difference, like, really, if I just was to lay on the ground. But what if you got everyone on Earth to lay on the ground? What if you did the same experiment where you're getting everyone to jump, but instead let's actually get everyone to lay on down on the ground, how significant of a difference would that make? I assume still very little. But would it be at least statistically significant, like a statistically significant change to the speed in any way at all? I think that would be really interesting to find out. Maybe he's done a video on that. If not, we'll have to. Maybe someone knows in the comments.
It's calculatable, and the impact can be quite impressive when you talk about redistributing more mass than just one person. For instance, last year, the earthquake in Japan redistributed so much of Earth's mass towards the center that every day since then has been 1.8 microseconds shorter.
Interesting.
But that was a giant geological event. What can us humans do to the Earth all on our own? I mean, there are more than 7 billion of us now. What if we all got together in one place and jumped? Well, what would that even look like? Interestingly, if you took the entire human population of Earth and had them all live in one place with the same density that people live in New York City, you could fit everyone, all of us, into the state of Texas. But that's...
See, that's what I was talking about. Like, it's... Oh, wow, that has a weird shadow. I thought I had, like, like a bruise my eyebrow or something. That's what I'm talking about, though. Like, that's still huge, to be fair. That is still massive. To be honest, that's more than I was thinking. And we're at just over 8 billion now in the world, in case you didn't know. But still, like, you wouldn't expect it to, like, if you hadn't really thought about it, and you're like, what would it look like to get 7 billion people together? What sort of area would they cover? You would not expect it to be that little. Like, the entire human race can probably not very comfortably, probably extremely uncomfortably live in a single state in the US or in Paris by the looks of it. I think that's... Oh no, that's showing Paris. Let's see. But yeah, I think that's wild. I think that's so interesting.
Living, not standing around in a crowd, which is to the state of Texas. But that's living, not standing around in a crowd, which is how we would probably want to do the jump. If every single person alive right now on Earth stood shoulder to shoulder, you could fit all of us into the city of Los Angeles.
That's the size I was kind of thinking. If not, that's smaller than I was expecting. That's crazy. That's crazy. For every single person on Earth in the city of LA. Every single human. That is wild to me.
An incredible sight to behold. A mere 500 square miles containing every single person on Earth. Okay, so then we jump. What happens? Unfortunately, not much. I mean, we're all awesome people here on Earth, but our collective mass compared to the mass of the entire Earth, it's like nothing. In fact, dot physics calculated that if all of us were to get together in one location and all jump 30 centimeters into the air at the exact same time, we would push Earth away from us a tiny amount.
That's kind of cool.
Earth would only move away from us about 1/100th of the width of a single hydrogen atom. And here's another thing. Because we are all jumping and then going back to where we started, Earth is just going to move back to where it started. So our big jump won't be able to change Earth's position in space. But come on, 7 billion people all jumping together, that's got to be able to cause some sort of seismic activity, right? So let's say you have a lot of people all together in one place, and you have them all jump on 1, 2, 3. Did you feel that? Well, the BBC did this with 50,000 people and discovered that 1.5 kilometers away, it only registered as a 0.6 on the Richter scale.
To be fair, though, it's still registered, but that's still 50,000 people. The BBC did that? I didn't know this. That's quite interesting.
You would need 7 million times more people than even live on Earth right now to jump at once to recreate the earthquake that recently happened in Japan. So, even though we're all awesome, compared to the size of the Earth, we're not much. But don't get too discouraged. Our collective jump would contain a lot of energy. The Straight Dope calculated that even if only the people who lived in China got together and jumped, their jump would be the equivalent of 500 tons of TNT. Of course, 500 tons of TNT doesn't do much to an Earth that weighs 6 sextillion 588 quintillion tons. To make yourself feel more powerful,
it's kind of wild that we can even like calculate that sort of stuff and just be like understand how much the Earth weighs. Like if you actually think about that, like that's crazy. That's beyond me, but I think that's so cool.
pick a card. I've got 10 of them here. Let's say you choose this one. Boom. Congratulations. We have just decimated this deck of cards. Why? Well, because technically, decimate does not mean obliterate completely. Deca, 10. It means to take away 1/10 of something. So the next time you take a quiz and don't do so well on it, you only get 10%. Well, sure, that's an F. But by getting 10% of them right, you decimated that quiz. And since we've been talking about crowds, let's talk about YouTube crowds, YouTube audiences, that view count that you see at the bottom of every video, and get some perspective on it. We'll begin with Dunbar's number. It's an estimation of the maximum number of people we can have stable social relationships with at a given moment.
Ooh,
and it's based on the size of our neocortex. These aren't just acquaintances. These are people you have social contact with.
I wonder if this changes over time. I don't really know what a neocortex is, other than it's clearly something to do with the brain and the amount of people you can maintain a relationship. But I wonder if over time, as people become more exposed to social media and just more people in general, historically we'd never have more than friends that are kind of local to us unless we move away, and then we have friends that are in the location where we live and in the location where we used to live. Now we can have friends all over the world. This is a fairly recent thing, like in human history, is to be able to communicate so freely with people anywhere, or almost anywhere. And I wonder if I don't know if it's over, a long period of time, if it's already happened, or if it may happen in the future. Because you've got so much more exposure to so many more people, if that changes the chemistry in your brain and this neocortex, and therefore this number actually does increase because we have become more social, or so is it? I don't know, because we've become more social as technology has advanced, things like that. I think that's an interesting question. It might not be something that it doesn't even work like that, but I think it's interesting to ask these kind of questions, because sometimes, even if it's like a dumb question, sometimes you need to ask the dumb questions to get some really smart answers. And yeah, let's continue.
Cortex. These aren't just acquaintances. These are people you have social contact with, a network where you know how everyone relates to everyone else. And the number is usually given to be somewhere between 100 and 230.
It's quite a lot of people.
Which means that when a YouTube video receives more than 230 views from different people, more people have seen that video than you could ever realistically hope to know well at a given moment. If a video has more than 100,000 views from different people, more people have seen that video than you will ever meet in your life. And by meet, I mean shake hands with, learn their name, talk to them for a bit. I mean, think of it this way. You and me, we are only statistically expected to live around 28,470 days. So even if you were to meet someone, 2, 3 people every day of your life, including when you were a baby, you still wouldn't meet as many people as have seen that YouTube video with 100,000 views. But keep this in mind, even though you, or even a large group of us, can't do much to change Earth's location or rotation, we can affect it a little bit. Newton's third law guarantees this. If you weigh 150 pounds, the Earth is pulling you down with a force of 150 pounds, but you are also pulling up on the Earth with a force of 150 pounds. If you fall 3 meters, the Earth has pulled you down 3 meters, but you have also exerted an equal and opposite force on the Earth. Of course, it's a lot bigger. So if you fall 3 meters, you pull the Earth up about 1/1000th of the width of a proton, which ain't bad. So the next time you move your body, the next time you jump, Felicia, think about this. You just affected the Earth as much as it affected you. You've got that kind of power. Speaking of power, you all should go check out Geek and Sundry, Felicia's new channel. It's one of my new favorite things. And,
as always,
thanks for watching.
Oh, so good. I just find these videos so interesting to watch. Like, I don't know, I love these kind of questions. So going back to what I said before we started, yeah, it wouldn't really have much of an impact on Earth. Like, I thought it'd actually be more than what he seems to be saying there. But it's even just answering these kind of questions, you know, it's, as you see, it's already sort of posed a bunch of other questions to me. Like, I can't remember what they were now, to be honest, but I love this channel. I think it's so good. Hopefully you found it interesting. If this is something that, you know, if there's anything that I've asked or like commented on, whether it's incorrect or whether it's, you know, there's some extra context or information you can give there, definitely let me know down below. But yeah, let me know if, so this is like one of my all-time favorite channels ever. Let me know if there's like another one, because this is just me. This is my opinion. What do you think what is your all-time favorite channels? Is there anything you want me to react to sort of explore, do a bit of a deep dive on certain channels or videos? Let me know down below. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.